All right, folks, welcome back. Happy Wednesday hump day, as they say. 2024 was the year of dodging bullets for America, of course. This is headlined by Donald Trump, who narrowly dodged the bullet that was headed straight for his brain, caught his ear. But the biggest bullet America dodged this year was undoubtedly one that would have hit us all. Her name is Kamala Harris, and she may be the dumbest person in this great country.
And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist. Yeah, I did that. I ask you to remember that this struggle is not new.
What the hell is she talking? There's something seriously off about that woman. What's frightening is that real people actually went out and voted for her. I'm not talking about the trans idiots or their kelp-munching greenie friends. Their opinions hold very little weight in my mind and in the real world. And in fact, there's a lot of people who donated a ton of money to that campaign. Almost $1 billion, I think over $1 billion, maybe $1.1 billion to that. That was going to be their idea of the president. But there were actual working Americans who thought that that woman was fit for office. Fortunately, there were nowhere near enough votes, nowhere near of those wackos to vote for her, because 4 years with her at the helm may have put us off the map for good. I got plenty more to discuss, so as always, let's rapidly react. Well, folks, the Pentagon finally, they confirmed basically what we already knew, that the drones zipping around New Jersey are not being flown by the U.S. This is the worst case scenario. We've got a government that probably knows exactly what's going on here, but all they're willing to do and say is that the drones don't belong to us as a government, instead of just giving us the truth. Our government would rather see people live in terror as foreign drones fly above their bedrooms. The New York Post is calling them spy drones from China, which could make plenty of sense considering China has eyes on all of us every single day. But the question then becomes, why are we not shooting these things down? They've been freely flying around for weeks, completely untouched. What would happen if a U.S. drone was spotted in a Chinese neighborhood? It would be instantly become a decoration above Xi Jinping's fireplace. But just like the spy balloon, Joe Biden has sat back and enjoyed the show. He'll probably start taking these things down, but not for another week or so, just in time for to give him a lot of information on us. Typical Biden fashion. Let China get whatever information they'd like, and then when public scrutiny reaches peak, actually do something about it. Mainstream media will tell you everything's A-OK, but behind closed doors, they're all hyperventilating at the thought of China scrolling through their TikTok history. They're doing everything possible and feasible to not talk about these drones, picking something new to melt down about every single day. Jake Tapper took the cake yesterday. Listen to this latest unhinged rant about Donald Trump.
We should note, Kristen, I don't want to overstate Trump's friendliness and genial attitude at this press conference, because this weekend ABC News agreed to pay $16 million, including legal fees, to settle a defamation lawsuit brought by Trump against the network and their anchor, George Stephanopoulos. And that obviously will not be the end of this campaign against the media, a legal campaign. One of them is the people of Iowa, the Des Moines Register. That's because there was a poll that was inaccurate. Mm-hmm. The one on 60 Minutes is because they didn't like the editing that had been done to the Kamala Harris.
From Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I mean, this is wildly ridiculous.
Well, can you hear the fear in Jake's voice? Because Jakey boy knows they're next. Tapper acknowledged that the Iowa newspaper is getting sued for inaccurate information. 60 Minutes is getting sued for selective editing. Why does Jake have such a problem with this? Democrats love to attack Republicans for the same exact things, using buzzwords like disinformation to get their warped points onto every TV in America. Jake Tapper is just pissed because we finally have a leader who isn't going to go and allow that mega corrupt media members to lie for a living. Unfortunately, society has been fed so much BS by the mainstream media. There are massive sectors of our population that are too confused to identify with any sets of beliefs. I don't know, take vegans, for example. These people can be insane. What used to simply be a diet has now become a total and complete way of life for some of these people. The modern vegan behaves like they're in a cult. These people once only cared about what they put into their own bodies. I care. I'm sure most people care. I try to eat less meat because I'm afraid of what they're shooting up some of the animals with. I don't know. Don't make a cult out of it. But now, if I do eat a steak, they think I'm a murderer. Watch, enjoy this insane encounter between a vegan and a normal meat-eating, flag-waving human being.
I always come by the motto, live and let live. I really don't care. You guys do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we're good, you know?
But you're not living.
Live is ironic when you're killing.
I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about,
You just said it.
Very
It doesn't
contradictory.
just extend to humans. That's
I'm
human
talking about you
supremacy.
four individuals right here, right now. I'm not talking about Bambi. I'm not talking about Baloo the bear over there at Disneyland. I'm talking about you guys right here.
But what's the difference between letting me live and letting a non-human animal live? Like, I don't think that it would be any more wrong for you to kill me right now than it would be for you to go and kill a chicken right now. I think that would be morally
And
equivalent.
that's your point of view. That's fine.
I mean, take a little too far, don't you think? I wonder who she voted for, by the way. I use vegans as an example here because society has become so all or nothing. Think about it. If you want to eat healthy and reduce some red meat out of your diet, like both of my doctors tell me to do, and I do, doesn't mean I think it's the same thing to kill a cow as it is to kill my boss. It's not. When you heard that guy say, live and let live, exactly right. Do your thing and I'll do mine. And together, maybe we can start to peacefully coexist with each other with diverse values and interests. This way of thinking could actually save the country. But you can't reason with these folks. These idiots are like, you're killing us, so we're going to kill you. And by the way, you're killing us because you're killing a cow to eat a steak. You don't shoot a guy because you don't agree with him. You don't assault someone because they voted for someone different than you voted for. The societal norms and standards remain the same, but behind closed doors, you are free to live whatever life you choose. And that's the beauty of America. It's actually protected in our Constitution. This cult-like mentality has impacted every tier of our society. Unfortunately, it's made its way into our schools. And it's done that years ago. Ideologies are being pushed onto children who have no choice but to absorb what their elders are saying, their teachers. They're giving them grades. Shut up and listen to this, Bobby and Susie, or I'm going to give you an F and your parents will kill you. So hear my bullshit about what the world is all about blue hair and don't eat meat. Be trans, it's okay. Mayor Eric Adams actually commented on this. Take a listen to what Adams had to say.
Think about the shooter. Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. And everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? Our children are being radicalized to hate the America, to hate the country that put them where they are. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of shooting someone. And we better deal with the radicalization of our young people.
So why is Mayor Eric Adams doing this now? Why is he doing this now? Is it because he's afraid? Because they're investigating some of the shady dealings he's been doing, and now he wants to get on the good side of Trump? I don't know. Sure sounds like it to me. Sure sounds like his turn happened right around November 5th of 2024. Right around when Trump slammed the door on liberalism. Sounds like Mayor Adams is going to jump on board just the way Eric Zuckerberg did at Meta, Facebook, just the way Jeff Bezos is trying to do at Washington Post / Amazon, just like Joe and Mika went with their tail between their legs and begged for forgiveness. Adams is doing the same thing. Eric Adams has almost started making a lot of sense. Well, again, since Trump was elected, of course, we can't ignore his destruction of New York City or his thuggish behavior behind closed doors. But I'll give credit where credit is due. The mayor is finally starting to make some sense. His point is a good one. Younger Americans have been poisoned by radicals to think that the country they have come to call home is some crap box wasteland that owes them everything. Young Americans are pissed off for no reason at all. They're told to be pissed. They hate the establishment. They hate Trump. They hate... Relax. In the case of the United Healthcare shooter, this is important. As the mayor said, that kid had everything one could want. A great upbringing, an Ivy League education. His future was bright and practically set. So why go and take someone's life and ruin your own life in the process? Check out this poll. 41% of young voters think that the killing of the CEO was acceptable. 41% think taking an innocent man's life, whether you like him or not, taking his life and his family's leader, father, husband, is okay. What happened to morals in America? I bet that 41% will be much lower if the CEO is a trans or a black dude. This is exactly what's wrong with our society. We riot, we cry about the wrong things. Everyone is just a social justice warrior, yet no one gives a crap about actual justice. Before we move on, I got one more thing I absolutely need to react to. San Francisco, possibly the wokest city in America, maybe even in the world, just appointed a weight stigma czar. Now, before I roll the clip, would any of you like to guess what she looks like? Okay. Surely with a title like that, she has to be in great physical condition, maybe, right? Roll it.
Hi, my name is Virgie Tovar, and I'm the author of You Have the Right to Remain Fat, as well as a few other books on fat positivity and body acceptance.
Well, for those of you listening on radio, podcast, Virgie, let's just say Virgie hasn't worked out a day in her life, I don't think. That's Virgie Tovar, San Francisco's new weight stigma czar. She's a self-proclaimed fat positivity expert. Let that sink in for a second. This woman landed a job with the San Francisco Health Department after years of advocating for obesity. Are you kidding me? I wonder what RFK is going to have to say about that. You see, folks, old Virgie is exactly why we have issues in places like San Francisco. She made the personal decision to let her physical health go. No one cares about that. Fine. Eat. Who cares? Don't work out. Don't get off the couch. Doesn't matter. You do you. I'll do me. But let's not put some sort of authoritarian spin on old Virgie. And let's not say that old Virgie's doing the right thing. And our kids are becoming obese at the fastest rate of any country in the world. Our children are becoming obese, and they turn on the TV, and old Virgie over there is saying, don't worry, obesity's cool. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. So what do? They eat more freaking Twinkies, right? Drink more Coca-Cola, and they get fat. And then see what happens. Let's play this out for a second. Then they grow up, and then they're fat, and they're obese, and heart disease, diabetes, all sorts of diseases come from obesity, are stemming from obesity, and they spend our health care like crazy. And our health care costs go up, skyrocket. As it is right now, if you're over, I believe, 70 years old, you account for 80% of the health care expenses in America. It's inching down. It's going to inch down. Young people are going to start having the same diseases that elderly people have as long as they're obese. And I'm saying, Virgie, putting authority in Virgie's hands, you're condoning obesity. This is a terrible idea. She must have spent years writing books about why you should embrace her way of life. Didn't you not see the dangers of this radicalization? San Francisco is literally the one place on earth where Virgie's way of thinking is acceptable. But there are more. Any liberal city probably is going to have a Virgie soon. They embrace anything. It's a city, San Francisco, full of crackheads and deranged lunatics. We cannot accept obesity as a positive thing. It's a legitimate health condition that cuts your life expectancy into pieces. Yet working Californians are now paying Virgie's salary with their tax dollars. I say they should all rally and pay for a gym membership instead. In 2021, Goya launched Goya Cares. That's a global initiative to protect children and educate children on mental health. Goya Cares is providing schools and community centers with a preventative education curriculum and a free assembly that includes the viewing of the Goya Cares movie called Press Pause. Press Pause is intended to raise awareness regarding mental health issues, abuse, and bullying among children, teens, and in our communities. Press Pause is an educational film following a 15-year-old Sofia Rodriguez as she navigates adolescence, self-doubt, and an abusive relationship amid her parents' turbulent divorce, set within the cultural context of her Hispanic family. The film explores her discomfort with unwanted attention from her uncle and the pressures of maintaining a facade of perfection in high school. It introduces the Press Pause campaign promoting kindness and advocacy, highlighted by Sophia leaving a note saying, "You matter," for a bullied peer. The film encourages open family communication about mental health and culminates in Sophia's transformative realization of her right to seek help. Through the power of empathy and small acts of kindness, Press Pause displays the importance of being proactive in supporting one's community and underscores the critical importance of self-advocacy. Good on you, Goya. Goya cares. All right, time for today's Truth Bomb. All right, folks, Truth Bomb here. Okay, the government knows what's going on. The FAA knows how to follow these drones. They know what's happening. Now we're hearing they might even know that they're not United States drones, meaning it's not our government doing it. Duh, we know that part. It's likely some combination of actual airplanes and private drones. People want to see what the hell is going on. I mean, it's almost like the sky is falling. It's almost like Orson Welles, the invasion that was coming. You hear about it on TV, all of a sudden everyone panics. They send their own drones up. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. But I will tell you, the government not telling us what it is when they know. They know. They freaking know. I know they know. Listen to Mayorkas saying they don't know.
The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, changed the rules so that drones could fly at night. And that may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before.
No. Not maybe, Alejandro. Mr. Alejandro, where the border is secure. There's no problem at the border when 11 million illegals storm the country, when he's saying everything's fine, nothing to see here. Does it scare you a little bit when Alejandro Mayorkas says everything's fine here? Well, Trump had a thing or two to say about that, too. Listen.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went.
It's not about what they are. If it were a threat, I'm sure they would blow them out of the sky. I'm sure it is. It's about that they won't tell you. They won't tell you because they just want to F with you. That's the bottom line. Get Trump in there. Hurry up, January 20th. Come. He'll either shoot him down or let you know what the hell they were. Truth Bomb, folks. Well, the left, they have an indisputable problem right now on the left, and they refuse to talk about it. They hide behind pushing for gun control when the problem is so obvious it strikes them right in their own faces. The fact that Donald Trump is about to become president for the second time is still their number one obsession, but the fact is that it's all a distraction from the fact that they have blood on their hands. The left has blood on their hands. Let me explain. There are reports out right now that Madison, Wisconsin school shooter is a girl who identified as a boy. For the record, when the police first came out to brief the press, that cop wouldn't even identify whether it was a boy or a girl, which is always a red flag for me out of the gate. Listen.
I don't know whether Natalie was transgender or not. And quite frankly, I don't think that's even important. I don't think that's important at all. I don't think that whatever happened today has anything to do with how she or he or they may have wanted to identify. And I wish people would kind of leave their own personal biases out of this. We have people who showed up to work today to help kids be better who are not going home. And we have lost members of our community who are children, including the shooter. So whether or not she was, he was, they were transgender is something that may come out later. But for what we're doing right now, today, literally 8 hours after a mass shooting in a school in Madison, it is of no consequence at this time.
Let me help you out there, officer. Let me help you out there. She was, he was, they were. Let me just help you. I beg to differ. It actually is of consequence because no sooner than a bullet fires out of a gun, the left screams to take away our Second Amendment rights. Even before bodies are cold, statements are released. Congress people are on the Hill talking, tweets are written. Gun control o'clock happens. Never let a good crisis go to waste. While it's still not confirmed, the fact is that the left has blood on their hands. Let's get into it. There's a whole new crisis in town, folks. And whether they like it or not, it's high time we talk about it. Whenever there's a mass shooter, and the suspect is a gender confused or a leftist of any kind, cue the massive cover-up. Let me explain. This is an epidemic. Much like the left's fervent desire to give children puberty blockers or give them gender-affirming care before they're even old enough to vote or drive a car, the left's answer to treating already confused children is to destroy their development and confuse them even more, sometimes permanently. The doctors see dollar signs, and the leftist parents see proverbial trophies in their minds because in their sick, twisted, narcissistic way, they think they've helped children by helping them do something they can never, ever undo. But what's worse is they're creating an army of mass shooters. But they refuse to admit that fact. They keep asking, how many school shootings before you take gun control seriously? Replace gun control for a minute with trans fads and mental disorders. And now we're really getting down to the real nitty-gritty of the problem we have here. In July of last year, a Philadelphia gunman left 5 dead. Kim Brady Carricker was a transgender Black Lives Matter supporter who made chilling Facebook posts about evil spirits. He was a firearm-obsessed computer nerd who dressed as a woman, wearing a bra, hooped earrings, and a gold bracelets. The leftist machine tried to fight back against the unavoidable narrative, but these types of shootings clearly create a nightmare scenario for the left. An African-American, a BLM activist who wears women's clothing. With each shooting carried out by the transgender army they've created, their desired profiling goes up in smoke. The left's narrative that mass shooters are always young male, disenfranchised white supremacists, well, that goes away. And again, that narrative has been chipped away at more recently. It's a very inconvenient truth for the left. The year before that, in June 2022, the man who tried to kill Brett Kavanaugh said he was a trans gamer girl, whatever the hell that is. A 26-year-old man charged with trying to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh frequently portrayed himself online as a transgender woman named Sophie and argued in favor of mandatory abortion as a means to wipe out the human race. Nicholas John Rosk of Simi Valley, California, was arrested near Kavanaugh's Maryland home on June 8th and was indicted by a federal jury on a charge of attempted assassination. Before that, in November 2022, the man who shot up a nightclub in Colorado and killed 5 people, that person identified as a non-binary trans person. Anderson Lee Aldrich, 23 years old, pleaded guilty to the mass shooting. 5 people were killed and 17 injured at the LGBTQ Club Q in Colorado Springs. March 2023, a Nashville trans killer, a mentally disturbed woman and self-identified trans person named Audrey Hale, shot her way into the Covenant School, a Christian, by the way, underline Christian private school in Nashville, Tennessee. Hale executed 3 young students, all of them 9 years old. Hale also shot and killed the head of the school, a custodian, and a substitute teacher as well. She would have killed many more people had several police officers not run directly towards. They risked their own life and limb, and they ran towards the sound of gunfire, moving past dead bodies in the hallways to stop the massacre. Thank God for those Nashville police. Nashville police released body camera footage showing their officers' response, and it was nothing short of heroic. Incredible. Shots being fired, they're running towards a fire. Any decent person watching that footage and hearing about that mass killing feels 2 things right away. There's gratitude for those brave police officers, and there's profound sadness over what happened to the Christian men, women, and children inside that school. But of course, at the time, Joe Biden came to express his concerns not for the Christian community, but for the trans community. I kid you not. You can't make that up. It serves as a very useful reminder of what a piece of garbage the big guy is, doesn't it? So what's the red thread through some of these tragic events? Is it possible that these various attackers were mentally ill, the people full of hormones? Is there a relationship? And could it be that affirming their delusions, their trans delusions, might actually make them more dangerous? Were any of these trans attackers taking testosterone? Those are the questions we need answers to in the legacy media, of course, indebted to their leftist monster machine masters and the media, much of it sponsored by Big Pharma. They're refusing to ask those questions. Is there a relationship between whatever these puberty blockers are and the drugs these trans people are taking that makes them violent, that makes them turn to violence, that makes them willing to kill 9-year-olds, sometimes younger? Maybe it just removes the emotional part of killing. I have no idea, but let's ask that question. I don't know. There's a guy named Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that's coming in. Maybe he can see if there's a link between them. For years now, the leftists love to claim that parents are domestic terrorists. Isn't that right, Department of Justice? That white supremacy is our biggest existential threat besides the climate change, of course, is to blame everything. Even bridges are somehow racist. Am I right, Mayor Pete? Seriously, January 20th can't come soon enough. The FBI, right now, this FBI will raid Christians for praying in front of abortion centers, and yet they won't fully investigate what was clearly a terrorist attack intended not just to kill Christian men, women, and children, but to intimidate others into silence, especially about their trans community. It's time for more people to stand up and stop this mess, end the delusions, end the dangerous medications, which, of course, President Trump has promised to look into. But their agenda is always to take away your fundamental God-given rights. What's to blame for this uprising, mentally disturbed transgender killers? Of course, it's all of you law-abiding citizens that own a gun. And if you want to see yet another glaring example of the left's hypocrisy, look no further than this post right here by Sir Naps-a-Lot. Quoting Biden. Today, families in Madison, Wisconsin are grieving the loss of those who were killed and wounded at Abundant Life Christian School. It's shocking and unconscionable. We need to act now, Congress. Hey, Sleepy Joe, didn't you just pardon your own damn son of a gun charge? What a hypocrite. Also, why is it that Joe didn't have anything to say about taking guns away when that United Healthcare CEO was gunned down in the middle of Manhattan? Where's the post about that, Sleepy? Luigi Mangione shoots the healthcare CEO in New York, and the left celebrates, making candles, worshiping him. A psychopath shoots up a school in Wisconsin, and the left calls for gun control. We're starting to understand their outrage about guns is 100% fabricated. And by the way, as I look at the shooting in Wisconsin, I can't help but think that this is what happens when a shooter believes he or she has a reason to target a person or group just after tens of thousands of people just made a hero out of a cold-blooded, coward murderer, Luigi. And again, nothing safe about gun control. Nothing to say about that gun control whatsoever with Luigi, right? Before coming out and coming after our shall not be infringed rights, isn't it possible that these transgender attackers are mentally unstable and should not own firearms? I'm no doctor, but something has to be done. Shouldn't we look through the data about pumping kids full of drugs or puberty blockers and how that might impact their decision-making skills? Like I said, I'm no doctor, but something tells me there's some there. For example, a group of researchers in the UK tracked the effect of puberty blockers on young people aged 12 to 15 years over a 9-year period. And they found that after just 1 year on puberty blockers, children were far more likely to want to hurt or kill themselves. Kids on puberty blockers experienced stunted growth and weaker bones. They had measurably lower IQs. It's easy to find that research, but somehow it's difficult to find a Democrat who gives a crap about these facts. And it's difficult to find a mainstream media host who will actually bring up those facts. That's why people are leaving mainstream media in droves and coming to digital, because they lie to you and they hide. They obfuscate the truth, and nothing but the truth. They'll give you their version of the truth. At Monday's press conference with President Trump, he was asked several times about vaccines. Would he undo the polio vaccine? What would happen to vaccine mandates? Questions related to RFK Jr. and vaccines in this country seem to be at the forefront of Americans' minds. And Trump, not being a doctor, simply said that he was looking forward to RFK to find answers, to do research, and to try to find out why America's children are getting sicker. Find out why autism levels have risen so sharply. His answer was that we need to find answers. We need to look at the data, the facts, and try to see what could be causing our children to be exponentially sicker over time. That was essentially his answer every time he was asked. And he's right. They didn't like that answer, though. They want to put him on the line. They want to hold his feet to the fire. Right. Let's investigate. Gun laws already exist. Strict gun laws exist in places where those with known mental health issues or criminal records are still able to get their own hands on their own guns. So why aren't Democrats willing to look, I don't know, it's other reasons. Why is it that they are more concerned with a progressive agenda on guns than with actually digging into what's ailing these shooters and what's causing these people to commit mass shootings and mass murders? Could it be because they're protecting a multi-billion-dollar industry? Our neighbors right across the pond somehow know better. They've looked at the same research we're looking at and came to a decision for the better of our kids. Puberty blockers banned indefinitely for kids under the age of 18. Why won't the American left entertain doing the same thing here? 18, you can't buy a freaking beer. The inability to even entertain the science is funny, alarming. Coming from the party that used the science to control every aspect of our lives for at least 2 years during that COVID pandemic. Trust the science, they said. I am the science, said Fauci. Why doesn't science seem to matter to them when it's about protecting the needs of our children, or when it's defending what a woman is, or defining it for that matter? Why don't they seem to be interested in why Americans are getting sicker and sicker? And the answer is always a quick fix like a government-funded injection. Never the actual reason for the problem. The answer, it's always the same. Follow the money. Always follow the money, folks. All right, got riled up there. Before we go, MTG just absolutely annihilated a fake news reporter. Take a look at this clip. It's awesome to behold.
100% funded by Democrats who donate to Democrats. You're out here asking bullshit questions.
What is the bullshit question?
All of your questions.
This is a mailing. This is a mailing from. This is Donald Trump.
President Trump. We all campaigned on protecting seniors' Social Security. You can't lie about it. See, yeah, this is your political agenda. You know what? We don't care.
That's
you know what?
That's Donald Trump's mailing.
No, you are one. You're not media.
That's Donald Trump's mailing.
No, this right here is for Democrat ads to attack Republicans.
So it's really simple.
No, that's what
it's
your
really
agenda
simple.
is. No, it's
Will
not
you
simple.
pledge
No, you're a
to
liar.
take Social Security and Medicare cuts off the
you
table?
and this guy right here, look, you're lying.
What am I lying
No, you're lying
about?
because
I'm asking you to take a pledge.
I don't need to take a pledge because we've already done that all year long. And guess what? The sad story for you is the American people elected Trump, his agenda, and Republicans to lead the country because you guys suck so bad.
Love her. God bless MTG, a national treasure, folks. That's it for us on Wednesday. What is it? Wednesday. See you tomorrow. Thursday. Bowling out. Have a good night.